other people talked about overstimulation from external factors. I particularly would like to pay attention to overstimulation from external factors because of the training or because of our context in Africa, we are used to a lot of chaos. It looks like our normalized environment where chaos happens and it's normal. So sometimes some of us don't realize that it's that chaos that's affecting us. It's that chaos that's making us behave in a certain kind of way, which is why I will pay attention to it, because your environment has a lot to do with being able to manage your emotions and being able to regulate yourself. I usually say, no matter how chaotic my day is, when I come on a call, you will never have an idea. Like, you cannot have a clue, because if I have 5 minutes to prepare for a call, it doesn't mean that I started preparing 5 minutes ago for the call. It means that I've had time to think about it. I write down a lot. Journaling is one of my secret weapons. But no matter the chaos I experienced before the call, 5 minutes is long enough for me to regulate myself, ready for the call. So you see, we need to know how to manage our environments such that you are able to perform optimally. Next slide, please. So knowing what emotion is, which I said emotion is energy emotion. Propel, please, you would have to share recalibrate your emotion again for people who were not on the call yesterday. I don't know if you shared it with everybody who registered, but just in case, please share it on the call so that everybody has it. So you will see in the tool or resource that will be shared, you will see this wheel, and it gives you a wide range of vocabulary on how to express yourself. Because I realized that many times our vocabulary for the emotions that we feel is quite limited. We either say we are feeling stressed. In recent times, we say we're overwhelmed, and people really don't have the words to express how they are feeling. So emotion is energy emotion, number one. Number two, your emotion is as a result of your interpretation of an event that has happened, how you identify with it, how you interpret what has happened, and how you repeat that thought and identify with the thoughts that is ringing in your head. Next slide, I talked about when things happen. Those of us who know how to pile, when things happen, you sweep it under the rug, it happens, you sweep it under. And then one day the person just does one very minute thing, you just escalate, you just go off on the person. It's not usually what they did at that time that caused the escalation. It's even not the things that they did before. It is the interpretation, how you are felt, that you just start to, you now talk about what they did that day, what they did today, what they did last week, what they did 2 months ago, what they did last year. You just start laying it on. And it looks like, is that how unbearable and how unforgiving you are? It's because you kept piling it. Number one, each of those events, there was a way you interpreted it. And you have been able to feel that thing time and time again. That's why you escalated. So emotional quotient, I like to describe it as the degree or the extent to which you are able to control. Remember, I said that emotions can be positive or negative. Tension also can be positive or negative. But for these sessions or series, we'll be paying attention to the negative ones. And so tension can be positive or negative. Surprise is positive, right? Disagreement, discord, discontent, all of those things are negative. So how you regain control after feeling those kind of emotions is what emotional quotient is. And emotional quotient, or your ability to improve your emotional quotient, is not a day's journey. It's not a week's journey. It's not a month's journey. It's not a year's journey. It's a continuous thing. It's part of your becoming. If you heard me speak, I talk about identity a lot. I talk about leadership, and I talk about becoming, because the process of your becoming is an ever-evolving matter. It's the process of your evolution. It's the process of how you become the person that you desire to be. That journey from who you are now to the person you want to become, that's your becoming. That's your evolution. And hello, I'm sure there are many people you follow online that you saw them 2 years ago. They are no longer, they don't look the same. It's the same person, but you just can tell that something has changed about the person. You also can be like that. And moving on, I talked about different types of tensions, and I said that you have the disregard where you feel like somebody is belittling you. Discord is where you have disagreement. You would have to go through the previous link so that you get a full understanding of this one. So we talked about discouragement, you talked about disappointment, where you had an expectation that was not met. We also talked about disbelief, where people think that whatever it is you are doing, or you even think that whatever it is you are doing is not possible. It's not going to happen. And then there is damage. That damage has to do with trust, when trust is broken, and it looks like it's almost impossible for you to recover from that broken trust. That's what damage is. However, all of these things, you can recover from them. You can give grace to yourself and extend it to the other person, not necessarily for them, but so that you can be better for it and move past it. Moving on, we also talked about how we respond to any of those tension is a function of what we have learned, what your parents modeled before you, what it is that you observed other people do, and what it is that you don't know. If you don't know how to be kind to yourself when you make mistake, you will consistently say negative things to yourselves. If you don't know how to pause and ask yourself some questions after somebody has said something to you that you will feel like cutting chain for the person, right? You will find yourself talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and even saying the things you're not supposed to say. So the function of your response is determined by what you know, what others have modeled before you, especially when you were growing up, and those who you regard as mentors and teachers as well. Yeah, why is it easier to be kind to others than ourselves? Because of how we were trained, right? In the African context, when somebody does something to you, even if the person is wrong and the person is the first person to go and report, I like to say now who first reports, now in the day, now him be first or winner, right? If that person goes to report and I say tell him sorry, you will not tell the person sorry, feeling subdued because you know that that person was wrong. But because they want peace to reign, they say, because that person reported first, they'll say tell the person sorry. So over time, right, you find yourself being, I don't want to say subdued, suppressed in order to make other people comfortable. Think about it in many spaces. When you were growing up, you were either shouted at, your opinion looked like it didn't matter. And so you couldn't wait to be an adult. And then when you get into spaces like schools, when you get into groups or team, you don't want to be like the inconsiderate one. And so when people do some things that are very annoying, you accommodate them. So the more you accommodate them, and you have never been taught how to express displeasure or discontent, nobody taught you that you can communicate this thing without being angry. Because when you were uncomfortable, nobody allowed you to express yourself, so you don't know how to do it. And so instead you just keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet, and then over time people are annoying you and you can't express it. You now find yourself happy of what we know, what we have learned, what has been modeled before us, and what we don't know. Ignorance is part of it. Next slide, please. And I say that you either take charge, which is finding solution to tensions, or you take off. Taking off is when we are defensive, when we lose it, when you give the person 10 pages after one sentence, you give the person 10 pages because the person deserves it, right? Then you suppress your emotions. If you don't suppress it, you are defensive. If you are not defensive, you just go numb. You just shut down. Please let me know, which one do you belong to? I'm talking about just take off the green box. When you are really upset, do you shut down where you just keep quiet and blank, give the silent treatment for the next 1 week, or do something happens? Or do you just go off bonkers on the person? Today I can look at chat. Do you just numb, ignore, and give silent treatment? Or do you just go off and give the person 10 pages or question one that the person has given you? Or do you become defensive of the things that you think that they are accusing you about? So please let me know in the chat. I will be happy to read. And if you have questions also, please do put them and I would respond as much as I can. Shut that, become a mock. All right. Oh, good. You go silent. Exactly. Team defense. You see? So it happens. And then some of us just throw tantrums. Like we're children. You just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. Like you transfer the aggression to the next person. You know how it is where you carry matter that happened at home, you then take it to the office, and you forget that you are carrying the negative energy from work, from home to the office. And so it just mistakenly hits you like this. You just go off on the person, and then they'll be wondering what just happened. You will not be able to apologize that, oh, I'm sorry, it is because of that happens. So you see, I see that some people are defensive, some people shut down. Our parents even did it to us. When you just do some kind of things that they're really angry about, the next morning you greet them, they will nobody wants how are you or something. They just some will just even blank you. I had one like that. She'll just ignore you. So next slide. So our ability to feel something goes beyond the actual thing that happens. It is a reflection of our interpretation of what has happened. So my question to you is, whenever you feel disrespected, you feel like they are disregarding you, or you feel disappointed, what do you do? What do you do when people disrespect you? Do you give them 10 pages? You know, when they say in 250 words, describe or explain, you know, what do you do when you feel disrespected? When you feel like you're being disregarded, how do you respond? How do you react? Okay, I see another perspective of, it depends on the relationship. If you value it, sometimes you just shut down rather than discuss it, and discuss it when you are calm, or you would lash out if you don't care. Oh my. Silence most times, and team defensive because I don't want to be a loser, you see? Or look like, aha, exactly. So I get it. All right. So what do you do when you feel disrespected or feel like disregarded or disappointed? Because different scenarios. Aha. Okay. You don't respond to react to disrespect. Okay. So how do you respond to disregard or disappointment, or even discord? Remember that there were different types of tensions that I mentioned yesterday. How do you respond to those different? Next slide. How do you respond to those? And you're dealing with them is usually by your character or by your competence. Competence is what you know to do. I mentioned earlier that no matter how chaotic my time has been prior to a call, I know how to set myself up. An easy thing is, I'm Christian. I'm a believer, right? I can simply just pray in tongues for a few minutes and I'm good to go. I can play songs. I have a playlist of certain kind of songs that once you see that my hand has gone off. Once I just play the first one, I am good to go. I am in party mode. That song doesn't even need to finish, and my whole system is regulated. That by the time I get here, I'm coming with my A game. All right. I also have some affirmations that get your list. I also have some affirmations that I have written. I'm a journal girl. I have books all over my house that my kids know that I value my books more than anything else. You get the understanding of what that means. Okay. So I write things in certain places that it depends on what I need per time, right? And what mode is needed for my engagement. What is the mode that is needed will determine what I listen to or what I read. and I could listen to somebody, it could be a YouTube video that I just played for a few minutes to bring myself to the state that is required, and then I'm good to go. Yep. And you can even tell from the sound of my voice that as I'm talking to you, I can remember certain things, and it's giving me the zhizh that is needed, right? So you have to learn certain things about yourself, which is why I will preach the gospel of self-awareness until I die. Because if you don't know yourself, you will not know what regulates you. So you need to pay attention to the things that increase your vibe. So one thing that increase my vibe, there's one song that's coming out, right? Just hearing it, I'm like, okay, this is one of those songs. You see, and then it's going to be on my list. There is another one that recently just came out. When I want to get violent, I don't get violent physically, right? But when I want to get violent, I need that song. It helps me rewire some things that puts my neural pathway into getting violent. Okay. And if I want to come with some level of decorum where you get the grace and see the elegance of me, there's certain things or certain people that I listen to that when you hear my voice, you will hear the soothing nature from it. It's all about competence. Your ability to know yourself is how you leverage your skills, how you leverage your strengths, how you modulate your weaknesses. Every single person has a weakness, has a shortcoming. Every single human being on earth has something they wish they didn't have. But the extent to which they know themselves is how they modulate it. So you see all those people that you admire and you wish you could be like. If you knew what their tendencies were, negative tendencies were, would you still want to be like them? Would you still like them? Some people say, I didn't know that that's how the person was. But hello, the person is human. Give grace. So you need to build your character. And character is where I would say that patience is a skill. You know, the Bible says patience is a virtue, but patience is a skill. And so I will put patience on that competence. Your ability to know your value and know that this is a threshold that I will never cross. Put that on that character. What are your values? What do you live by? What are the certain principles that guide your dealings with yourself and other people? What is one thing that you say, okay, I will do this every day for the next 30 days? I'm not going to come to your house to come and mark it, whether you did it or not. But you yourself are the person who is going to mark it. And if you fall short one day, okay, you fall short 7 days, you by yourself, your confidence level will diminish. That's why some of us seem like we have more confidence than other people. Because there are certain things we told ourselves that we are going to do. And because we are doing it, we'll be like, okay, yeah, I got it. But if you are not consistent, if you are not showing up for you by yourself, for yourself, you cannot show up for other people. We will not be able to trust you, not because we don't trust you, but because you will not show up as the person that we can trust. So your ability to control yourself in certain and in every situation first falls on how you understand yourself. So your character has to be built. If you don't know which character to build, first of all, know what your own value is. Know what you can and cannot do. Not because you cannot be tempted, but because you want to be guided by certain principles. So if I say I'm going to do this, like I said, I'm going to be on this call today, no matter what's happening, whether there's light or there's no light, whether there's data or no data, I will work everything that is within my control to ensure that I'm on this call. If I end up not being on the call, it means that something happened beyond my control. And we will get to the control soon. Now, competence, what I can do today is not what I could do last week. And what I could do last week is not what I could do last year. So that means you are supposed to be evolving, even if it's on the same matter. If somebody said something to me last week, and if you're like me, my face speaks before my mouth, right? So please let me know that I'm not alone on that table, that your face says the thing that you want to say before your mouth says it. Now, if somebody says something and I look at the person in a certain kind of way and then just conform and I don't say anything, It means that there was a time in my life that by the time my face looks at you like that, my mouth would have followed. So it means that I have improved beyond, we are many on that, Abi. It means that I have improved from giving you that sarcastic face and then using my mouth to speak. If I still give you that face and I don't say anything, have I not changed? Have I not improved? Yes, I have. So learn to know that the skills that you have can be better. It's like you see people speaking and you be like, oh, that person can speak. And then when you hear exactly. So many of us, we have those expressions. And that's another skill we'll have to improve on. Our ability to have a straight face so that people don't see you coming. That's a matter of another day. Next slide. So we need in building our emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, you have to be able to build your character and build your competence. And character is more of our behavior and our tendencies when situations happen, both positive or negative. Don't be overly excited, except in your core space. You know, like somebody used the example of they come and propose to you, you are falling on the floor. Why are you falling on the floor? Decorum, please. Okay? We don't do that here. I'm not saying don't be excited. Don't come and be joking with me and be laughing with me and just say, now you now slap me. I don't do that. You like tell me I'm too serious. I don't do that. This one of my body language that shows people around me that I didn't appreciate what you did. Then you will have to show it to. Yes, I'm like that too. They say, that you didn't even appreciate what I did for you. I'm like, I really appreciated it. It's just that maybe you were expecting a different kind of gesture. So what I now do, I've gotten that comment before. I've gotten that comment before. But you also have to watch it that the person does not want you to now be worshiping. You know, there are some people when they do something for you, they want you to make they want to feel like they are a demigod in your life. I don't know why I'm saying that, but there's some people like that that they want you to every single time. And so I live in the environment where they're mostly Yorubas, and Yoruba people are very dramatic. You guys have greetings for every single thing. You guys have greetings for the thing that somebody did for you last week, last month. You know, when I first came, I was like, what's this? But now I've learned that that's how I've learned that that's how they are. So I'm learning it. I'm still not like that. You know, so now I say, well, thank you so much very much. Thank you so much for the thing that you did last week. I really appreciated it. Sometimes when you just do this, I say, well, thank you so much. Then I send you a WhatsApp message or a text message telling you thank you. Now I've gotten further. So somebody told me that one of my mentors did something for me yesterday. And so I sent a message, oh, thank you so much. And then I said, well, thank you so much. I put emojis and then I said, thank you so much for taking care of me. I really appreciate it. And so the person will be like, what's wrong with this girl? But I need to show you that I appreciate it. So, brother, you need to show that you appreciate it. But don't be overly dramatic. It's not your style. It's not your style. But you also need to know the person that you are dealing with. We'll get to that. Time is going. So control situations by changing. You know, that's why I talked about competence and I talked about character. So all of this, so we will keep going between everything I say, think about it towards character, think about it towards competence. Competence is your ability to do something. And so as you are changing, ask yourself, like, okay, so yesterday I mentioned that if something happens, you ask yourself, what was the meaning of this thing? Like, what happened here? What meaning am I getting from it? You see, exactly. So you ask yourself, what am I getting here? Like, oh, okay. And then sometimes when you hear certain things, which I think I'm getting better at, is when somebody says something, especially something that I particularly disagree with, I don't take offense immediately. I keep repeating that thing that the person has said, and I sieve out the things that I do not want to feel. And then I now ask, okay, this is what the person said. What if this is how the person said it? So you repeat it in such a way that you are reframing all the negatives to get the core matter that the person was trying to tell you. So if I say, the example I used yesterday where I said that sometimes you have to call after giving people grace, sometimes you have to call out your normalized nonsense. And then you say, oh, that thing that you did that day I was going to drop you, and then you did this thing, or you insulted that man, or you splashed water in that man's face, or you threw the bottle on the road. And then you say, oh, do you think that was a good thing to do? Now, when somebody wants to say that to you many times, they don't say, do you think that was a good thing to do? They say, that you didn't do well now. You did not do well. How can you do such a thing? Sometimes you behave as if you're not thinking. Really, think about it. When somebody says that thing, you'll be angry. So you will now ask, like, okay, that thing that I did, if I had done it differently, like, how could I have even done it differently? Oh, yeah, she said I could have done it differently. Like, how could I have done it differently? It's true. It's possible that there's a different way. I don't know what the different way is yet, but I have taken that from all of that babash, where you just called me a mumu and somebody that does not have sense. I take out that I could have done it differently. And all the other things that you have said, I will drop it. And that's where elimination also comes in. There's some things you just don't carry with you. Because especially we as women, when we hear things, we repeat it. It now sits. And as you are repeating, the thing is expanding and getting more bigger, getting very tedious. The tension is building in your head. Whereas the person only said that sentence once. But because you have repeated it and repeated, you hear it in 10,000 different ways. And you'll be so angry, be swollen. But what if you just eliminated all of those interpretations that you gave it and try to understand what the person was saying? What was the core message the person was trying to pass across? If we do that, there are many things people say to us that we'll not get offended by. Sort out tensions by asking yourself, what do I do, or what can I do to take control? How can I change this? Next slide. What is it that I have control over? Somebody asked the question yesterday and said that, how do I, I think it had to do with his spouse. And I said, before you start thinking that the person is disregarding you, you have to first think of what you have control over. You don't have control of what people say. You don't have control of how they say what they say. You don't have control of the kind of things that happen, but you have control of how you respond to them. Like that in itself is deliverance. You have control on how you respond to things. And in regulating your emotions, discernment, oh my God. We usually talk about discernment when we are talking about spiritual things. But discernment, oh my goodness, it will save your life and destiny. Discernment can make you keep quiet. I gave a story yesterday. And for the sake of those who were not here, I will repeat the story briefly. I said, the title, I like to call it A Daughter, Her Dance, and Her Damage. There was a king who was having a party. He was doing a celebration, and everybody in the kingdom attended. And during this party, the king is, happy. He has lavished his friends. Everybody's, praising him for how beautiful and magnificent everything is, luxurious, and the feel, the vibes, and everything, music, everything on point, top notch. And then the daughter, which is his stepdaughter, his wife, that's the queen's daughter, comes and she gives a marvelous presentation. She's dancing so beautifully that the king is in awe, like he's feeling so impressed that this is for me. Oh my. And he says, oh my beloved, anything you want, I'm going to give you. And the girl looked, when you pray for opportunity, the opportunity now comes, you don't now know how to ask for what you want. Many of us are on that table, but we will not take part today. And then the girl is like, oh my God, what do I want? And she runs to meet her mother. Mommy, the king just asked me that, and what do I want? And the queen then told her, there's this man that I have been looking for. Today is that day. Go and tell the king that you want the head of so and so person. And the girl went back and said, I want the head of so and so person in a platter. Now, this person's head they have asked for is somebody that the king admires. But because of his wife, he had to put the person in prison. But at least he could not kill the person, he could not punish the person, he just shall put the person in prison so that he will be at peace with his wife. Come on now, imagine that. The person, when all those kind of people that their mouth will be just so bad. But Isha Akpo is even telling me the truth. And now this girl has come to ask for the person's head. I remember that the king said, he said this promise in the presence of everybody in the party. He didn't have a choice but to send people to go and cut off that person's head and bring it on a platter for the girl. And I asked, and I'm asking you today, if you are the girl, what would you have done? If you are the king, what would you have done? Discernment is very crucial. If you don't discern what you are feeling, sometimes people, you can't really tell or place them when they speak, when they act. You yourself be able to discern, this thing that is happening now, how am I taking it? This thing now that just happened, how am I taking it? If you are able to discern how you are, what your pattern is, what is triggering you, what your response is going to be, you'll be able to pause. This thing I just said to save us a lot of drama. You will be able to pause. Sometimes some things can happen. It looks like I have delayed response. Some things can happen, like the thing shake me from inside. I could just stand, bam, 2 legs on the floor. And then I'm like, okay. So by the time I'm going to speak, it will look like nothing moves me. Whereas things have happened, and it could be as short as 2 minutes. It could be as short as 30 minutes. You see, I said short for 2 minutes. I said short for 30 minutes. It depends on the degree of the matter. Like somebody said, I may just keep quiet until I calm down before I come and talk about it. Yes, it's allowed. If it's a space where you think, like, oh, can I get back to you on that? Nobody said you must address a matter now. Like, can I get back to you on that? And before you even say, can I get back to you on that, you go don't take breaths like 10. Do like 10 to regulate yourself so that by the time you are saying it is a level of decorum. You won't be saying it with the way your heart is palpitating. Discernment is key. Next slide. And we should be able to regulate ourselves first. Many times when we hear emotional intelligence, we are thinking of how to respond. We are thinking of how to discern, dissect the matter. But watch the patterns that is showing up. What is your own pattern? I like to say that if you know your pattern, it is wisdom. If you know the pattern of other people, it will give you peace. The way person A behaves should give you an idea, especially if it's somebody you regularly deal with, should give you an idea of how to deal with person A. In that same kind of scenario, it will not be the same way you deal with person B because of you have seen how person B behaves. So know your patterns, know how things move you, know the tone that really annoys you, and you just be ready so that you will not find yourself reacting. Rather, you respond. That's how this man talks. That's how he talks. You won't want to give him, I'm not his wife. Should not talk to me not talk to me anyhow. Whereas you have dealt with him a couple of times and you can see that this guy, sometimes he can be very brash, sometimes he can be very rude, sometimes he can be very condescending. And I say B, make I just okay. So yes, sir. I think I get your point, and I would appreciate it if you give us some time to deal with it. Is it okay for me to get back to you? Whereas in your mind, I'm like, I thought you okay right now. Because you know that that's how the person is. But there are some people that want to tell you, I know it is my right. People should have did this. And I say, yes, I agree that it's your right. I agree that we should have responded to you. You know, when you tell those kind of people, repeat what they have said. Now say, hey, yes, so that you're not going to do it. Sir, could you let me finish? Take control without coming down to their level. Many of us want to show them that thing, that nonsense that they can do, you too, you can do it. That's not how we are. So know your patterns and know the patterns of other people. It will help you when you're relating with them. Be curious. Learn to ask questions. Learn to understand. Which is why I say separate them, reframe it, take out all the nonsense, eliminate the things that are not necessary for the matter to be resolved, and get to the matter. Then compartmentalize issues. Don't let home bleed into work. Don't let work bleed into business. Don't let your friendship with A bleed into B. A did something to B. You are now coming to judge A for B. When A and B now settles, what happens to you? Women, ladies, A and B are quarreling. They didn't quarrel in your presence. Oh. A said something to you that B did. You didn't go and ask B that, oh, B, what's up? What happened? I understand. You won't say, don't go and say, A said, I understand that something happened between you and A. What's up now? Yorubas, it's a kilo shell. Like, what happened? You won't ask. You won't want to settle the matter. You will inherit enemy, my darling. And you say, this, you now block the person, you now avoid the person. Then they now settle. Sister, where do you now belong? Bridge, I be under the bridge. Please, leave me alone with relationship. You see me now as I am, I'm a teenager. When it comes to relationship matters, just leave me. I'm not even going to comment to that comment of yours. And then lastly, assess your feelings. If you can be in touch with how you're feeling, what you're feeling in different scenarios, which is why the vocabulary is important. If you can assess it, you would. It will help you a lot. Let's move on. Time is going. Time is going, though. So in assessing your feelings, this comment, you guys are making me laugh. I won't look at comments again. In assessing your feelings, right? You need to ask yourself, what are you feeling? Which is that book, why that chart is important. And please look at it. And then ask yourself what happened just before that feeling began to be felt. What just happened? What's triggering this? And then ask yourself, what story are you telling? Because sometimes you are hearing something, but it's not necessarily how you should hear it. The interpretation you are giving, it may not be what the person is saying. But sometimes because of how you are feeling, you can't ask the question. So assess yourself first. Think about it before you start. That's where those of us who are defensive now say, but this is not what I did. But so ask yourself, okay, what story what story am I telling myself in this matter now? What are they talk? Like, what happened and what me they talk? And what's this person trying to say? If you can rewire or reprogram your pathway to ask yourself this, you see, in that just that number 3, like, okay, what happened? What am I taking from this? And what's this person trying to take from this? Because for you to have some tension, it means that the person is saying something that is maybe directly opposite what you're saying or slightly different from what you're saying. So don't by yourself begin to focus this person. If you focus your energy on trying to understand, the focus on the emotion itself reduces, and so you will not be able to react based on how you are feeling. And then you ask, okay, so how can I gain emotion? Like, okay, this person said this is what I heard. And the simple thing may just be to just keep quiet. Not keep quiet because let me just shut down, just ignore the person. It could just be like, okay, maybe it is actually right in some ways. And even the person is right, like, okay, so what exactly, which is something I do now, I would just say, what exactly are you trying to say? Please say it in a short sentence, in a manner that I may be, so in a way that I may be able to say. Don't say it too long, don't say it too plenty. Just say it in a short sentence so that I can understand what you're trying to say. Sometimes when you ask people that, it makes them to pause too, especially when the tension is high. Oh, please, I want to drink some water. I'm coming. You go and drink water. Come back. That's okay. So please, with what it is that you are saying, I really don't quite get it. Could you say it in a short sentence so that I'm able to understand it? Go and try it and come and tell me the feedback. I want to hear feedback. Don't try this thing and not come and tell me. When you just do that, they then have to think about what they want to say without saying so many words. That time you see that time you will now take deep breaths. Everybody will now be taking deep breaths, you know, and the matter will just and then you now go, okay, so how do I deal with it? If only we just use our brain to just, because this thing happens in microseconds. Where did you just go bam? If in that you just say, okay, so what's happening here? Like what has happened? In that, just what just happened? What just happened? What just happened? The emotion will start dissipating because you are not focusing on the feeling that you're having. So this is my not so short way of how you dissipate some negative tensions. Let's go. It's already 9:31. Remember at the beginning, I mentioned that your environment has a lot to do with how you are able to manage your emotions. Whilst we're thinking about how do we regain control with tensions with other people, pay attention to your environment. And many times we look at the environment as your physical space. Your environment is not only your physical space. Your environment is your inside, because it's what you have on the inside that comes out on the outside. Your environment is what your body feels like. Your environment is the physical space. So today I will talk about your sleep. And all of this, one way or the other, has to do with your mind and your body, and then the physical space. Okay, so your mind, your body, then the physical space. So your sleep, I said it yesterday that for for about 4 days, I wasn't sleeping well. And so by the fourth day, I was realizing that I was really getting irritated easily. And I had to backtrack, like, oh, what's happening? This is not me. Whenever I become like this, it means that. And it didn't take this thing I just said now, it didn't take me 5 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I haven't slept well. I'm going to bed early. And I went to bed early. But the next morning, that was it. So if you know, or if you check, sometimes I'll say use a day. Sometimes what I prefer to advise is use 1 week. Jot down. Like, okay, how am I feeling now? Sad. How am I feeling? Excited. How am I feeling? Irritated. You just keep going. For the entire day. At the end of the day, you now reflect, oh, at that time I was feeling sad. Why was I feeling sad? You probe it. At that time I was feeling sad. Why was I feeling? Oh, yeah, I finished that slide. Oh, yeah. You trace it. If you do that every day for 7 days, you would see a pattern. And then you'll be able to discern in 7 days when you sleep well, when you don't sleep well, and see how it affects you over the day. It does help. And for some of us, we don't do 8 hours. Yeah. So if I talk as a public health researcher, I'll tell you that you need your 8 hours sleep. But I don't do 8 hours. I cannot afford to do 8 hours. Okay. So check yourself and find out what works for you. Your body reading. Do you exercise? Does exercise help you? If you don't know whether exercise helps you, let me tell you now, exercise helps you. And I'm not a gym rat. You can obviously see I'm not talking gym. No, gym, we're already escalating the matter. Simple exercise and movements that you do at home will help your body reading broke apart. Even if it's just, you see what I just did? Breathing. It's not our normal breathing. Like, make a conscious effort to. If you do that 10 times, there is a way your body just adjusts. Do it as you are right now, whether you are lying down listening to me or you are sitting down. Just do it. Like, you can hear my breathing. Do it 10 times. There is a way, you cannot explain it, but there is a way your body will feel differently, especially if you have never done it before. So breathing, when it comes to body reading, like, those funny things that those exercise people make us do. Breathing in and out consciously and following the breath, making it as long and pausing as long as short as much as possible. Makes your body alive in a different kind of way. And then exercise too helps you. The third one is your thoughts. Sorry, the last T is not there. Your thoughts. You have to pay attention to things that go through your mind. If you're the kind of person who is pessimistic, you are going to be focusing more on negative things, which is going to impact your life, impact how you react, impact how you respond to things daily and on a regular. But if you're somebody who sees the positive in many things, in how you respond, how you think, how you adjust, things will not get to you so much because you are able to just reshuffle the thoughts. So pay attention to your thoughts. It impacts your life much more than you imagine. It impacts your life much more than you can even articulate sometimes. So pay attention to your thoughts. Learn to tweak the negative ones. One of my ways is asking what if. You will ask what if as many times as possible. Because sometimes when we say what if, we think of negative. So you keep asking, okay, what if it doesn't work? And what if it works? What if it doesn't work? What if it works? What if it works and this happens? What if it now works and we now get to this? What if it works? You keep asking what if, you see that you yourself, you get tired of the negative. And then your words, what are you saying? What are people saying around you? Because the things that people say around you, your friends, the people you spend time a lot with, it affects you, whether you like it or not, whether you are aware or not. Think about it. Your closest friends, the people that you spend in, not even that they are your padio, the people you spend time, those are your colleagues that you will listen to what they are saying every day. One day you will talk, you will say the words that they used to say. One day you will talk, you will speak the grammar the way they speak it. That's how it is seeps. So what words are you listening to? What movies? What they call these things? What skits are you watching? What kind of sound podcast are you listening to? What conversations do you regularly have? Those things have a way of seeping into your life. I'm not going to go into entertainment so deep, but pay attention to the words that come into your life. It is spirit, it is life, number one. Then number two, you will enjoy the fruit of it. So what words are you speaking? What words are other people speaking? What are you allowing to come into your mind? Because what you hear, that you hear again, is what you have heard that you hear again. Like when I spoke yesterday, you were repeating it. When you hear me today, now, tomorrow something happens, you will hear my voice and you repeat it. So imagine if you consistently listen to me. Do you see? So the people you consistently listen to, you keep hearing and hearing and hearing. So pay attention to the words that you speak and the words that you hear. And then environment. For me, I realized that plants is crucial for my life. And when I say plant, I don't mean artificial plants. It has to be organic, real life plants. And so I incorporate them in my spaces. Books are important for my life, for my destiny. It's in my environment. The kind of sounds, the kind of songs I listen to, the kind of movies that I watch, the people around me, they are curated. Don't worry, I've been hearing I'm weird since I was a teenager, so now it doesn't bother me. But the environment that you create, both the physical and the social, goes a long way in impacting your life. So pay attention to them. They are how you control and how you gain control. They influence it in more ways than you can imagine. If you did not sleep well, you are going to be cranky. If you don't sleep well, you will be upset and you will be easily triggered and offended. If your body is unstable, you will not hear what somebody said, and you will now hear what the person did not say. If your thoughts are chaotic and very problematic, you will hear all the things, the negative things that people are saying, and you will even interpret it. Has somebody ever said something to you and you interpreted it and the person like, oh wow, I never thought about it. And then you say something, the person now says, how can you just go from here to here? I'm like, what did I say? And then you now say, no, this is not what I meant. I meant that. And I say, oh, you know what? Oh, but what did you understand? When the person now says, no, that's not what I meant. So it can happen because of the things that they play in their head, the things that they have heard. When you now say something to them, it's like you say, that dress that you wore yesterday, I didn't like it. Please, this simple sentence I just made. Ladies, tell me in the chat what you heard. That dress you wore yesterday, I did see my face as I said it and see how I said it. That dress that you wore yesterday, I didn't like it. I want to be reading it. What did you hear me say? Don't repeat what I said. Tell me what you understood from what I just said. Oh, God. Brothers in the Lord, you see what I said. You heard what I said. You saw you heard that I said it. See what, please look at the chat and see what they're interpreting. Help me. Ladies, respond, respond. Respond. So that you will understand that sometimes what is said and what is understood, it's not because the person is saying it. Damn. Hi. What is that dress you wore yesterday? Didn't like it. Somebody has understood color. Somebody has said, talked about their body type, shape. Somebody, do you see what I'm saying? There's so many times I didn't look fine yesterday. But what if I was saying that it didn't look decent? What if I was saying that that dress was not appropriate for the event or for the occasion that was happening at the time? Because when I said it, actually, when I said it to you on this call, I was actually talking about the appropriateness of the dress for the occasion. And you all have heard whether it was fine or not fine, whether it was colorful or not colorful, whether it fit your body shape and type. But in my mind, I was thinking about the appropriateness of the dress. So if we were supposed to be maybe at a brunch and the person came wearing skinny jeans, no, not skinny, like shredded jeans is what I call them, those jeans that are tear. I'm not saying there's something wrong. I'm just saying that for some kind of spaces that I'm in, that's not appropriate. I say, let's go for a brunch. Even if I say casual or something, you should... No, you're not the only man. That's why I said you guys, you are two today. Don't worry. And I say, that's why I say you people should listen, because sometimes people say women are weird. It's because people don't understand us. This one is a lesson, it's a learning curve for you. Okay? So sometimes what you say is not what is understood. Just let that be your takeaway so that you will apply it where needed. So so it's important that we learn to ask questions. That's what I was trying to pass across when I made that statement. Sometimes you really don't understand what the person is trying to communicate, but you are forcing yourself to behave or believe that you do. What if you just ask, like, what exactly do you mean? I don't think I understand what you're saying. That way you are able to regain control, or you also are able to control how you respond when tensions arises. So in all of these things that you have heard today, please let me know. If you have any question, I've gone beyond time. We didn't start on time. So Grace, give me grace. I'm happy to take questions. I'm happy to respond to any comments, concerns that you may have. And moving out of this, we are having a course for about a week or two, correct me? Yeah, okay, so that's like 8 days. It's about 8 days on emotional intelligence, and it's going to be happening in June. So please, if you found this valuable, just imagine what you're going to be learning from that. There's a seller link, and I guess the Propels can also share it on the comments. And in that, you will get voice notes from me every day. You will get assignments and worksheets, resources that you will have to turn in. because we do work and the work will show. We say we do work and the work they show. So we're going to do some work where we have to decompress. We have to be aware of what it is. If you were paying attention in the WhatsApp group for this series as well, you will see that every morning I send a short write-up of which, if you did take the assessment, you will see that there are certain things you can pay attention to every day. And if you are paying at just the consciousness of paying attention to it, you will not be reacting the way you normally react, because awareness is the basis, is the foundation. And understanding yourself gives it another layer. And your ability to take charge of your own self, ability to curate your environment helps you. And so you say, before you even start saying, oh, let me respond, let me react, let me tell the person I am or I'm not. If you can take care of yourself, many of those other things that people throw at you, remember I say it's what you can take control of that you should pay attention to before you start looking at things that you cannot take control of. So join us and you will have an amazing, amazing time. It's open till, I think, till the first week of June. So please, if you are interested in that, do join us and let's grow together. Questions? Yeah, transformational change takes time and it depends on how consistent that you give yourself to it. So please let me know if you have questions. You can unmute if you want to. You can type it and I would respond to them. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I will call names, so I'm very good at that now. I will call names. So let me know if you do have questions. You're most welcome. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll let you have the remaining time of your evening. It's Friday night. Some of us are going to party. Some of us are going for night vigil. Some of us are going to bed. So please let me know if you do have questions. Otherwise, let me also let you, I would ask, yeah, feedback is important. That's my love language. I know they say it's not part of love language. Oh no, don't matter. Don't, you see those things that we do in our head, and it's like, am I not supposed to know the answer? I'm supposed to know. Just ask it. It doesn't matter. Just ask it. So about the reaction. So the question that somebody asked about the reaction of your face. You can also see that when I read the message, it showed on my face like, right? So sometimes, or many times, you have to, truthfully, you have to practice it before the situations arises. What that means is that if it's a movie you're watching, for example, you have to practice keeping your face straight or expressing the opposite of what your mind is saying. It's something that has to be practiced over time. It doesn't happen overnight. And even me, was in some cases, even in recent times, like somebody was talking. The person is one of my mentors. She was talking, and because I have an idea of how she is, I kind of knew what she wanted to say. And if you see the way I looked at her, I had to call myself back, like, why would you look at her like that? Because she saw it and I was like, I won't say it again. And she just kept quiet. So I had to now tell myself, no, you don't do that. Don't do that again. You see. So sometimes it happens it happens unconsciously, but you have to keep practicing it. And it takes a while. Okay. But if you keep practicing it, it doesn't show up as often as it does. So that when somebody says something, you now look at them. And then Kenneth's question says, oh, did I miss it? Okay, no, Susie's question came before Kenneth. Susie says, I talked about environment. In a situation where you are not getting out of that environment anytime soon, how do you stay grounded without going out to character? So that's why I use the word curate. So curate means that you have to create a certain kind of environment. So I grew up with my grandmother, right? And the environment. So when I say the environment, the physical environment, the area that it was is your typical lungu, is the area of areas where people come and do things that people don't want to talk about. But from the way I speak, you don't know that I grew up. I mean, I started living there when I was maybe 18, right? So from the way I speak, you can't trace me to that kind of environment because I was intentional with the people that I spoke to. So in going in and out of that environment, people just knew that I was not like everybody else. That's number one. And that's why I said I'm used to people calling me weird, and it really doesn't matter to me. And then in the house itself, there were certain things that they were doing that was not my style, that I didn't think was the kind of thing I wanted to be doing. So when they are making noise and chatting and gossiping, I'm sorry, but that's what I took it as. When they're saying things of other people a lot and a lot and a lot, I could go and start playing songs. So for somebody like me, I've known time and time again, even when I want to learn something new, I create it into songs. So I had to be intentional in reading. I had to be intentional in playing songs, the kind of songs that would help me. I started listening to messages a lot, like way back. All those things that they play in CDs, all those Miles Morale and things. Yes. So over time, there's an environment I have created for myself. And then when I cannot take it, because sometimes Dabira accuses me that I'm usually like very paddy. When I cannot take it, when I need a break, I take walks. But there is a time that it looks like the thing is becoming brash. I carry myself and I go to my friend's house. In their house, they were very closely knitted. They were chaotic too, but they were very closely knitted. And because I'm a visitor in that house, there are certain things they will not include me in. So there I have my peace for some time before I go back home. You see. So you will curate your space within that environment, and you must have a place that you can go to, even if for a few hours. Stabilize your brain, your thoughts, relax, and then come back. And you create a kind of routine where you are hearing things outside of that environment, so that what you are hearing in that environment, what you are seeing in that environment, does not drown the things you are trying to build. I hope I've helped you. I don't know why I'm not seeing all the things I'm supposed to be seeing. Okay, I think it's much better now. And about the face thing, sometimes I try to hide my emotions from my face, but the very first thing people notice is on my face. How do you avoid it? Yeah, I just mentioned that you have to, it's something you have to train yourself with. You have to train yourself. It's practice. It doesn't happen overnight, because it took you at least 20 years to be able to be showing your expression. So it will take you some time to be able to adjust. But if you can see my face now, right? Practice it like actors and actresses. You have to look at me very intently to be able to see it. I thought of something very annoying, assuming that somebody said it, and I smiled inside of my face. My normal self, my front head was squeezed, and I'd be like, but I gave a side look and I just smiled. It happens within seconds. So you have to keep practicing it, like really keep practicing it for you to be able to adjust your face. Or sometimes you just stylishly do like this, where it's like you clapped, in the midst of the clapping, you just force yourself to smile. And when I say force, you don't have to literally force yourself to smile. You have to think, have a bank that you go to for funny things. It could be a bank of funny faces. It could be a bank of few sentences that will make you smile. It could be just something, so that your immediate response, which is why pausing is important, your immediate response will not be something very sarcastic, especially at work. You could learn to smile once you are processing the rubbish that you just hate. Take deep breaths before you respond. Whenever I find myself in a new environment as a guest speaker, I always feel this stress as if I can't be able to deliver. And several times that affected my presentation. That's because you are trying to prove to yourself that you can deliver. All right? This happens to me in front of every webinar, every speaking engagement, every talk, even when I'm talking to my kids, because I don't want to pass the wrong message. I don't want to say the wrong thing, right? So I'm saying that feeling that pressure is normal. But have you prepared? If the answer is yes. Have you studied? There's a difference between studying and preparing. Everybody says it's preparation, but did you study your material? Did you take your notes? Did you put down the things that you wanted to say? That's number one. Number two, did you practice them? So if I'm going to speak for 45 minutes, like it's a speaking engagement, I will practice some of the things that I say. I never repeat the same thing 2 times, the same way. Even if I write it down, I don't know how to say it the same way 2 times, except I'm reading it directly from the book. But if you take your notes down and you have thought about your story, you have thought about your storyline, your presentation, how you want to say it, right? You will be to remember those points. And if it stresses you out, if presentations stress you out, take your notes with you. You don't have to read it, but give yourself pointers like, okay, so you want to talk about, I would say learn your learning styles, but let's not go there yet. So you want to talk about, say, emotional intelligence, like I'm talking about. You want to talk about what emotional intelligence is. You want to talk about the different ways of assessing emotional intelligence. You want to talk about assessments that people can take. You want to talk about the different parts of emotional intelligence, your self-awareness, your emotional quotient, your ability to regain control. Put all of those as a pointer. Because you have studied, you are prepared for it, and you read a lot. It's not that you are going to read to make that presentation. You must be a reader to be able to be a speaker or a leader. So you already know some of the materials that you are going to be referring to. You're taking the notes. You have to prepare. If you have that, and maybe the crowd or the audience, you want to have an awareness of the kind of people you are going to be meeting. Like, okay, they're going to be elderly men or women or young people between the age of 18 and 25, or between the age of 30 and 47, those kind of things. You have an idea of those things. So you know how to tell your stories, you know the kind of words you use, the grammar, if you're talking to Gen Zs or older people, how you make all of those things. With time, your stress will be, am I going to deliver or not? Have I prepared? Yes. Do I know what I want to talk about? Yes. What is the end game? What is the outcome that you want people to get after your speech or after your presentation? Know what it is. For me, it is, I wanted you to be able to understand that emotion is energy in motion. Your emotion is the interpretation of what it is that you interpret or identify with in that situation. And you should be able to recover based off of, is it discord, is it disagreement, there are certain parameters I have planned that you must learn from this interaction. So you would need to identify what the outcome is that you want them to get and focus on that. When you get there, whether it's a mic or not, your voice will shake for a few seconds, but pay attention to the content of what it is that you're saying and believe that you have been preparing for this and you are going to deliver. After 3 minutes is too long. Once you get into the groove of saying the things that you are prepared to say, the rest will flow. But if you are paying attention to, I don't want to mess up, I don't want to mess up, you'll find yourself messing up. I saw what you did here, breathing in different emotion. Oh, are you talking about the facial expression I say you should pay attention to? I didn't get that. Yeah, shake it up for a few seconds. It happens every single time somebody speaks. If you pay attention, there will be a low tone, and then you just see the person just goes on. It happens to everybody. Many of us just have more control over it than others. And then prepare. If you prepare, you'll be good. If you read, which is why I'm shouting my community, read, 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 read. Because if you read, you have a lot. You can make references, you can make illustrations, ideas, examples will come from all of the contents that you have consumed from reading, not just watching. Watching sometimes doesn't stick, especially videos, except you are watching the video and taking notes. If you're not taking notes, it doesn't I don't know how to explain it neurologically, but it doesn't imprint on time if you don't write it down. So before you make the decision, write them down, so that there is a translation that comes between your knowing and your knowing again, and how you present it out to others. Engineer Susie, I saw what you did here about the breathe in different emotions. I didn't quite get that, but I'm hoping that you're referring to when I made the expressions on my face when I said you should take notes of the expressions. Sometimes shaking takes longer, most especially when the audience responds. For audience, it is because, so this thing you're saying happened to me. I went for a speaking engagement sometime last year. That was after Share Retreat last year. That's November. And it was a church. And when I was talking, I had been told that most of the people were young ladies. But when I got there were more married women with young children and stuff. And how I had prepared was to talk to young women. So as I was speaking, I was changing my examples, and then there were guys and stuff. So when I was just talking, everything, I could literally see it, right? I could see that everything that I was saying was going over their heads. So I had to pause. I didn't finish everything I planned to say that day. I had to pause to say, I know that some of the things I'm saying may not make sense, but put yourself in this scenario where you are able to do this, and this, and the outcome that you want, your desired outcome is in front of you. What would you need to do from where you are now to where you want to get to? That in itself changed their expressions. But sometimes everybody will not get you. Look for the one or two people. That's one secret. Look for the one or two people who is nodding, who looks interested in what it is that you're saying, and move your eyes to those people. You see, all those other people are just looking at you. See, you see me, that's ignore them. If not, they will reduce your anointing. That's one of those things. Look for those people, identify those people who are interested, identify those people who are agreeing, identify those people that they seem to be on the fence. You see it in people's expression on the fence as to what he's saying, does it make sense, does it not make sense, what does he, identify those people, let them be the audience. Those of us that are just ignore them, because if you keep looking at them, they are going to stress the crap out of you. I hope that they've helped you. We have gone past time, so any further comments, please let me know what resonated with you, what you learned, what was your aha moment. And I am Sefe Osinoiki again, and I am reachable by these emails, and our website is thepropelledlife.com. We're happy to hear from you. You can also reach out to us on the WhatsApp group. If you do have questions, please put it on the group, and I'm happy to respond to you. Join us for the soft power course. Invite your friends, frenemies. Thank you for having us and spending time with us. I hope to see you at the soft power course. and do have an amazing weekend.